All right, I want to talk a little bit about troubleshooting when you guys have these. We're getting more and more errors now as our systems become more complex. So I want to talk a little bit about how I go about troubleshooting, and maybe that might help. When someone sends me an error, like Jack sent me this error, I come down here and I look, and obviously it says that it's having some sort of issue with the get DB request, and it says it could not establish the connection and stuff like that. All right. So what we want to look at is I want to see what it is that he sees, right? And I can tell that this is his module 4 dupe. So when I go in, let's see if I can move this over so we could see it. Okay. I'm going to type in Thomas, and I'm going to look for module 4 duplication. I'm going to click on it. And then up here, I don't know if you can't see that. I'll move it over a little bit again. I'm going to go to open the app. And in the app, it looks like he got it working, right? So I'm just clicking on the links. Okay. So it looks like it's working. Let me just all the links are working for his module 4 duplication effort. So I don't know exactly if he's still having issues or not, but that's what I would do is I would open the app, and then I would, if he's having an issue, then I would go in and look under more and view logs. Okay. Under more and view logs, after I click it, it will make a change in here, right? And then this is the code that I'm going to be copying and reading. Sometimes you can read it and it will tell you what it is. Sometimes you can look at it and you can't tell what the error is. Okay. There was another error that we had by Enzo. So I'll take a look at that real quick. Let's see. I think it's Sergey. All right. And Sergey had an issue with his database. Now, on his database, it says it could not connect. And if I click on resources and look under his JAWS DB database, which I'm assuming will be looked at, what you do is you come in and you make sure when you select, you're just selecting just the part, like you're not over selecting, right? So you want to select and copy it. I like to double click, then I know I've got it. Double click, I know I've got it. Okay. So if I double click, I can, then I know that it is right. Okay. You could also take it from here and paste it into a notepad document and make sure there's no spaces. And then this is the host. There's username, password, the port, and then this right here is the schema or the database. Another way to troubleshoot, let's bring this one back. Okay. One way we can troubleshoot, let's see if I can bring this up, make it smaller so we can see it. Oh, don't want to do that. Make that smaller, bring it within here, and bring this over. All right, very good. So we could see it. All right, so I can click on the terminal. So I'm going to click on terminal, and I'm going to type in, no, I know my virtual environment's running because I have it here, and I'm just going to type in Python app.py. And if I click on the little button, we can tell that it's working, right? If I go back to it, let's go back to it, okay? And I make a change. So let me just go into the base file. And on one of these URLs, we'll call this home dot. And then I come back down and go to my terminal. Oh, go back to the terminal. And I Control C and run it again. Click on it. I'm going to get an error. Okay. If one of my URLs isn't working, that's the error that I'm going to get. Could not build URL for endpoint home index. Did you mean index instead? So that means it's in base or it's inside one of the HTML files where I might have put a URL for there. So that's where you're going to get that error. But you can see the error also down here. So in the terminal itself, you can see the error. Okay. And sometimes you could see the error when it's locally done. But if you don't, you can always see the error down here in the terminal. And you can copy it like so. Copy it and then paste it right into the chat and say what is wrong with this. Okay. Sometimes let's just open up loan amortization. Sometimes if let's just add an S on the end of that and run it again. I'm going to run it one more time. I'm going to click on it. All right. Oh, I need to change that one back for where we were. So I'm going to go back to my base. And I'm going to change it back and get rid of home. I don't need that on there. All right. And now I'm going to refresh out here so we know it works. Okay. And I'm going to click on loan. And I'm going to click on, I'm going to try to add some stuff. Oh. Okay. 30 years. Interest rate of 7. And this is going to be 200,000. And then when I click add loan, it added. But when I click update, let's make it 35 years, click update, it throws an error. Okay, and this is an error that's going to happen because it doesn't know what loan infos is. Okay, it doesn't know what that table is. So if you get this error, the MySQL error, it's trying to tell you, I don't know what that error is. And if you looked at the actual code, let me go back to the code, you'll remember in loans, so a loan, I changed it. Oh, I don't need that one. Let's close these guys down. Okay, I changed it and I added an S on this. Okay, now it restarts the server, and when I hit refresh, it updated the loan to 35. So now when the update goes, let's go 40, click update, and then I can look at the details, and the details are there. Okay. Okay. That's the only way that it just takes time to learn about. I guess I can show you one other thing that I like to do in my GitHub. So in GitHub, when I go to loan amortization, okay, what I like to do with my GitHub, so I'm in here, I like to have the example GitHub and this GitHub. So this is the one that's loan 2024. I sent you guys one that was called, I think like CRUD example. Module 4 CRUD example. Okay. So it's this one. What I like to do is have this open and then just start looking through each file. So I'll click on app.py and I'll see that that's right. And then I'll click over on the proc file and make sure that's right. I'll click here, make sure that's right. That's good. And then I'll go through the routes and make sure the routes are simple. I'll go through the DB Connect and I'll just double check that the code is right. I'll look at the app factory, make sure I haven't added anything into the app factory. I'll look in init. I'll make sure I've seen some errors where they forgot this line 13. I'll make sure that's right. And then I'll go into templates and inside my base, I'll make sure that my URLs are all right. And then I'll go into my index and make sure that it extends the base. Okay. And I will keep doing that, making sure that they, that each of them are extended, right? So that I want to make sure they're all extending on base and that there's no HTML in there. I've seen that. And then in my blueprints, this init should not have anything in it. And then in runners, I should be able to have it all working exactly how it needs to work. So I will check this. This is a good example of how it's supposed to be. And I would just start going through and checking your code based off of this. That's how I would troubleshoot it. Now, if you need my help to troubleshoot with your URL or your GitHub repository, okay, go into settings, click on collaborators, and add BA Marshall 06 as a collaborator. You'll know it's me because it's this little thing up here. Add me as a collaborator. Then inside Heroku, okay, go to access and add brian.marshall@gchu.edu as a collaborator. Okay. Then send me an email with this is what's wrong with my app. I can't figure it out. And then make sure you include in the email the link to your GitHub repository and the project name, this name right here, of your Heroku, so that I could very easily go in and look at the stuff and try to give you some insight on which direction to go. anyway, that's my 2 cents on troubleshooting. I hope it helps. I think for the most part, y'all are doing a great job with your troubleshooting. Sometimes you go down the AI rabbit hole and you don't know what you're doing, and it could take you the wrong direction. Remember to keep it simple. We're not trying to add more libraries. For the most part, we're not adding libraries yet. We're just working on functions. So have a great week, and I'll be able to help you as best I can if you send me the right information.